We'll see what happens. It's not right. I didn't. Are we live? We might be live. We're
waiting for the notification to come through.
Probably live. Oh,
Yeah,
thanks
we're
for.
live.
Likely. Oh boy.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Look alive. Look alive.
Hi,
Everyone
guys.
sit up straight.
Welcome to the weekly Rocket Jump Film School live stream.
Aunt Lisa.
Everyone say your name at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Joey.
Cherish. That's us.
I actually followed your
I
instructions.
know, you could have said anything like butt.
I could have said chest.
Yes. Anyway,
Chest McNulty.
hi guys.
Belt holidays.
Chest. Okay, so let's say the three names. Let's say the three names we came up with.
Okay.
What did I come up with? I didn't come up with.
So we were just
Okay.
talking about coming up with funny names, and it was sort of inspired by a few different funny things. Anyway, we've come up with a little formula. A random article of clothing and a holiday. So
And
one of them,
Is Belt Holidays.
Belt Holidays. Good name for a character.
And
you
I-
can use that.
I came up with another one randomly that's Matt McButt.
Neither of which fit the formula,
No.
but are still good.
It's still good. What's the last one? Chest Parfait.
Chest parfait. Not parfait isn't quite a holiday either, but it's
And
It's
chest
French.
isn't a clothing. It's just your body.
Hi.
Yeah. So maybe the formula is just like
Look at all
More
these
of
Two
wonderful.
weird words.
a
Hello,
guideline.
Savan from India. Rule.
Whoa.
So body part and food,
Hi, Irish Hippo. Hello, Ezra.
article of clothing,
Cursed.
and a holiday, and
Oh, you had
a regular name and then a part of the body. Those
you
were
had
the
Chest
three.
Valentine. Was it Chest Valentine?
Chest Valentine.
Wait, sorry. Part of your body and what? A holiday?
Part of your body.
Yeah, party body and a holiday,
Or dessert.
or food and a regular name,
Arms spaghetti.
or a regular name and a part of the body.
Dude, that's pretty good.
You can mix and match.
Arms spaghetti?
Eh.
That's funny. Okay, anyway,
What
hi
you
guys.
got? What are some of the ones in the chat?
Someone
What-
said Jean Summer.
Gene Summer.
That sounds like a real name, guys. We're trying to go for
that
movie.
summer is a season.
Hi guys, hello. Cool office. Thanks, Clifford.
That's not bad. I like where your
Cooper
head's at.
Glover. Anyway,
You can see
just
the hunk wall.
yes, you have to earn.
Right
You have to
there.
earn your. You have to earn it to be up there.
Yeah.
Here's the other guys. Yep.
There you go.
Anyway. Just kidding. Anyway, hi. So we're answering industry questions today on the stream. Aiden Darcy has a question about filming on location. What is your question? Cursed loves spaghetti. Who are you trying to poke, Joey?
Stop.
Nothing.
What bit rate
I
are
had
we?
spaghetti for lunch
Oh.
with chili.
Before I forget, if you guys watched our black and white video essay, we put up some bonus content from the essay that we didn't include. It's linked at the end of the black and white video essay because it's unlisted. We didn't want to spam your inboxes with more stuff
Spam.
that wasn't just tutorials. Spam! Oh, God. There's also a link to it
Sorry.
in on our Twitter and our Instagram, and we'll put it on Facebook at some point.
Bonus material. Go check it out.
Okay, we have a lot of questions, so we should jump
here
into
we go.
this.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do you guys want to do the thing? Lauren, do you and I just want to ping pong between us?
Sure.
I got questions.
Kubrick Lover asks, how do you get an agent? Good question. It's so, I would say a lot of that happens word of mouth because places aren't legally allowed to accept scripts unless they have representation through an agent. So a lot of it is just through word of mouth, frankly, and connections. I know that's not a very satisfying answer. Would you guys agree, disagree?
A lot of the people I know who actually have agents aren't really happy with them.
That's true.
So maybe don't have an agent.
Yeah, I think it's mostly getting your reputation out there and getting your work out there, and then I don't know if you can apply to agencies or what. I know you can do some research on them and reach out, but like usually you have to be somewhat established in your craft at that point because they don't want to take a risk signing you on and trying to put you out for jobs unless they know what your qualifications are. I think that's the best thing I can come up with.
Dude, Kevin Nader said butts pie. That's pretty good.
That's fine. I like that.
That's pretty good.
Yorgo says, hey, I really liked A Day in the Life of the PA. We need to do more videos similar to this. We do, but we had the magical help of Nathan Kep to film that one, and he's like the most thorough videographer.
It was unused material,
For
bonus material, as you would, for the Rocket Jump the show.
I want to do more of those though. That's
and
really
they
cool.
had a full camera team following people around, and yes, we like that video a lot, and we do wish we had the resources, and we're constantly going throughout production for that type of in-depth content.
I like
Our latest video coming out next week is a slice of that, but it's less like
Following
job.
one person.
Yeah, day in the life based, and more of just like we followed sort of departments around and saw how they all sort of collaborated together. So that'll be really, really fun. Hope you enjoy that next week.
Yeah.
I want to say Tightrope's cool name, which was Legs Hanukkah.
Legs Hanukkah.
That's pretty good.
If you're just now joining the chat, feel free to just throw out some funny character names.
Usually a body part or holiday or a dessert. It
Yes.
seems
Combo.
The
Or
formula
piece of
is
clothing.
fluid, so
Um,
mix and match as you will.
Aiden, I called out Aiden Darcy earlier, but he asked about locations. How do you get locations for film shoots? And so the larger question is, how would you ask for permission? So as a producing question, normally if you go to a location, like you go to an ice cream shop, right, in your town, or you see one that you want to shoot in, you go in there and you ask for the manager, and you then, once you talk to the manager, the person closest to being that authority, you can ask them, hey, I'm an independent filmmaker or a student filmmaker or anything like that, and I'm interested in shooting here. Do you guys have a policy on that? And then you just start engaging and taking care of questions that way. Like, do you have money to pay them? Do you have insurance? All that stuff. If you're like super low budget and have a really small production, maybe sometimes they'll let you do it in exchange for like giving them a shout out. So just kind of ask what the trade-offs are, if they even have a policy. Sometimes the person working there will give you the phone number or email address for the manager. So then you reach out to them that way. But yeah, you just talk to people. I mean, producing is literally just talking to people and figuring things out. It's not anything more complicated than that. Hope that helps.
I have, let's see, other good questions. Jason Funk asks, can you mention big business names such as Starbucks in a scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can mention them. It's like if you are really ripping into them and showing footage of Starbucks and getting into it, you might have a problem. But if you just reference like, hey, you want to go to the Starbucks, usually that's fine. If you're saying, man, Starbucks sucks and is responsible for global warming, you might want to.
I think you're allowed to say anything, aren't you?
I think you're allowed, but if you have like their logo everywhere, that's
Yeah.
where, it's the logo. It's
Yes.
it's the visuals
Yeah.
that get tricky.
Yeah.
But like you can talk about it all you want.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can say anything. Obviously, if you get really derogatory, there's certain laws for like slander and all that, libel, but some of that's in print and stuff. So
it's at the level that you're working at. It's like for theatrical and any other release, you need to really get stuff cleared. But at this stage,
yeah,
not so much.
Yeah, if you're just putting stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Theatrically, you need clearance for logos and anything like that. But that's not anything that you usually have to worry about
yeah.
now.
Agreed. Let's see. Isaiah Kai Malad asks, what would you say would be the first steps in trying to secure some work experience as an individual trying to make it in the industry? First steps, that's a good question. I would say You can do a lot of research. There's a lot more resources online than there used to be. There's books you can read on whatever department you want to be in. If you want to be a cinematographer or work in camera department, you start researching that. You can start researching how film sets work in the various departments. And then basically first steps is then meeting people. Just meeting people. There's Facebook groups. There's Craigslist, but be safe on Craigslist. There's a lot of areas in which you can start reaching out, and people are always making movies and always want, free labor, frankly. Like, if you want to get started as a PA, a production assistant, that's number one, the first step. It's kind of just get out there and start meeting people and go to set and have a positive attitude and work hard. And if you ever feel unsafe, there's a lot of times where I feel like, we've all worked sets that have been largely fine, but I hear a lot of stories about people who, it's their first set and they go on and it's kind of, if you don't feel good about it, if they're asking you to do unsafe stuff or they're asking other people to do unsafe stuff, if the producers are or the director is or whatever, like, it's okay to walk away. Because there's a lot of things, there's like, professionals would never do that to you. So you want to work in a capacity in which you feel good about it. But meet people, research.
There's a lot of really good filmmaking groups on Facebook that are getting really popular. There's filmmakers in Los Angeles or filmmakers or whatever, or Camera Women Facebook group or something that I'm part of. You can join some of these and people post job postings and stuff, and that's a good way to get to meet people. And also, if there's a college in your area that has a film program, you can always, the student films are always looking for help as well, and that's a good place to get experience and meet people who are up and coming filmmakers, and just try to meet a lot of people. It's
people.
It's hard. You gotta be a people person.
The answer is people. Meet people.
141 J Bird.
You want to do one?
Joey?
How can I get multiple camera angles from one camera? You cut and you move the camera. You get all your angles. It's really that simple. And the first example that came to my mind was Robert Rodriguez shooting El Mariachi. I think his 10-minute film school is on YouTube, and it's just sort of what he learned from making that film. But he talks about that specific thing because he actually shot it on film, so he had to be very efficient with getting all the camera angles with a limited amount of footage. So watch that. I recommend it. It makes you sort of have to think about what you need in the scene and other things like that. But you can also just cut and move your camera. That's the beauty of a lot of films are shot with one camera. So.
Our video, what's it called? Setups?
Shots versus setups.
Yeah, watch that video and that'll really kind of, I think, help you understand setups and stuff.
Here. Let me find it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It gets into how and why you do different shots and different setups for one video. Let me find it.
Good question.
Is it my turn?
Are we taking turns? I was just jumping in.
No, we were taking turns.
Oh,
Joey,
then I was skipped a few times. Should I take the next two?
Originally okay.
No, I told you I had the chat. I'm not just being rude on my phone.
Let me just take one before I forget it.
Okay.
Chewbacca Charlie asks, how would you go about training to edit better when you don't really have any friends or filmmaking equipment? Start ripping, just download stuff and practice editing. You can, online there's so much footage, so many assets, people figure out how to do it all the time and just start, if you don't put it up, then you can download it and play with it and start, I know people who just practice cutting trailers that way because they just get footage off their computers.
There's a contest and stuff. Jimmy Cliff did it. That's how we shot the Van Damme thing. Those were all just green screen assets that they released to you to edit with, to sort of mold your own story.
Yeah, and we actually just posted, Adobe just did this contest as well to celebrate Premiere's 25th anniversary. They were making available, they shot a music video, The Imagine Dragons, and they were releasing all the footage, and then they were going to have a contest for whoever cut the best music video. Mm-hmm. So you can literally sign up for that contest right now, download the footage, practice editing with it if you want to submit to the contest.
Yeah.
That's up to you, but that's free footage right there.
And those are always, there's always something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, we even did one where you can take our video and then sound design it. And that's a whole other part of editing that we emphasize is how important sound design is for your story. So practice that as well.
Yeah, there's isn't that how Dan Johnson got working at his current job? Was they had a contest on editing film trailers, and he just edited together a trailer for like the 300 or something.
Yeah.
And it was a really good way to, like, if you download movies and create trailers or recut scenes or do something, it's a good way to practice without like having your own footage.
Yep. It's good practice
He's one of
for
their
sure.
head editors there now, I think.
He's like
He's one of the editors.
Yeah, he edits there. Shout out Dan Johnson.
Dan Johnson.
Lauren, you wanna go?
Yes, I had.
No problem, Chewbacca Charlie.
Did we do Hawkeye Sutherland's? I like that name. Hawkeye Sutherland's question. How do you get a script seen by professionals or even amateurs with the ability to get a film made? Is the best way going to film school, trying to get into the field and finding producers like that?
There's no right way. There's no right or wrong way.
That's getting it seen by professionals. That usually goes with having an agent if you're a writer, and studios like that. But for like up and coming filmmakers or amateurs, it's networking, which it's just like, I hate the word networking, but it's meeting people and finding that group in your area that is looking to make stuff. Again, even if you're not in film school, you can find a film school and meet the people there. You can volunteer and PA and stuff on sets, because like when you're on a set, like a PA isn't there to be a career PA. Like they might want to be a sound editor or a director or blah blah blah. If you meet those friends in the film industry and hang on to them, you could be like, well, I'm an aspiring writer. Like I'm gonna write something. Do you want to direct it? It's film school is definitely a great. Film school is a great place to meet people with like-minded minds. You can kind of find your tribe there. Like I met most of the people here in college, and we're still all friends. And it's been like freaking 12 years or something. 2004, 13.
Yeah.
Dang.
Find your people.
Yeah, that's basically what film school's good for, is finding your people and getting the time to practice and make mistakes without
serious
big
consequences.
risks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I would say finding people and then maintaining those relationships. It's like, you want to, people kind of start working different jobs, especially in LA, people fragment and stuff like that. So it's like maintaining your relationships with people that you really connected with is part of it. Joey.
Hey.
You got one?
Well, sort of. There's a fella in here asking. He says he has a question about converting an idea into a script.
Oh yeah, he's asked that a lot.
So.
Do you know who it is?
But what's the question?
He said, "How do you?" It's basically how do you start writing? I think.
How do you convert the idea into a script?
Mm-hmm. Practice writing.
Yeah. Read scripts. Just read a bunch of scripts. See how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Compare the script to one of your favorite films. That might help you at least understand from the script to the screen, or at least the process of that. So, yeah, that's where I'd start. And then just practice.
Yeah, we also have, there's a lot of great books on screenwriting. We also have a video. If Kevin Nader wants to redeem himself, he can link to the Screenwriting 101 video. How to screenplay format. Just start learning how to write in screenplay format.
We should release the script to some of the D404 episodes. Those are great.
Yeah, I think they're figuring out how to do that.
Yeah.
But
those are really fun to read. Not tooting our own horn, but wow, Bob
is fun to read.
Bob made me cry, and I haven't cried reading.
You said you didn't cry. Joey said he didn't cry, but now he's saying he cried.
No, Bob made me feel.
You said cried.
I heard it.
Maybe I did. Okay, maybe I cried reading it. Powerful writing, good scripts, but it's just for me to.
Oh, Baby Joey.
Just for me until y'all can.
Baby Joey.
At least I have that. Oh,
Baby Joey
Jesus.
feels crying.
Bob is my friend.
Do you feel like you are Bob?
No.
Like do you feel like you're just a human-shaped piece of meat?
No. Who cares what I think and feel?
That's true.
Forget
Anyway,
it.
moving on
Read scripts.
and read books. I'm reading a book right now. I'm reading a story by Robert McKee, which is a great book on storytelling and writing. Lauren has a copy that she can show you at this moment.
It's thick.
It's great. Oh, we just
It's
had a little
real-
electric
oh.
shock. Meow.
It's good.
Static
Read it.
electricity.
You can get it in audiobook form too.
Yes,
Read by Robert McKee. He reads his own books.
that's nice. I'm not bullying Joey. Joey deserves it.
Well, I had a good question.
Everyone's
Where
no.
is it?
I'm not bullying Joey.
Are we friends?
No.
Just checking.
No. I'm Jane, you're Bob, and no, we're not friends.
Jesus.
You're just a cube of meat.
God, there's so many good questions.
Someone go.
It's me. Okay. Okay. Shit. Well, Plow Killer asked this a long time ago. I don't know if they're still in here, but Plow Killer asked, how do you handle stress on set? Which is a very good question because it is a very potentially stressful situation. Handling stress, it's how you handle stress in life or any sort of time-sensitive situation. I would say keep it all in perspective. Like, you're making a movie. It's not the end of the world. People aren't dying, or they better not be dying, on your set. And, you know, you shoot what you can. You prepare for the best, and then you come together and you see what you got. You make the most of it, you know? Like, I remember in film school, we had this class called 310, and we were shooting on 16mm film, so you had no idea what it was looking like as you shot it. And it was a stressful thing. You only had one shot to get these scenes. I had actors come in, and then once we shot, and then once we showed our dailies in class, I was just like, well, you know, this is what we're working with. Whether or not I was disappointed or happy with the results, you know, you're like, this is what we have available to us for the movie, and we're gonna make the best movie we can out of it. So I think perspective is really, really huge, and just remembering that it's just a movie. Your life isn't over. You guys, you know. This is just you and people, hopefully you like collaborating with, putting together a story to share with people. And if you're not happy with it, you'll get another chance. You'll make more stuff. This is not the last thing you'll ever make, you know? So.
And the good thing about making stuff that you're not happy with is that it means that you're growing. It means that you have good taste. It means that you hold a really high standard for yourself. But don't go too hard on yourself. It means that you have learned a lot on that short. And you can look at it and figure out what are you not happy with, why, what would you do different next time, and so your next short is always going to benefit from that. So, like, I say this a lot, but, like, the best way to make good movies is to make a lot of crappy movies. Like, make all of your crappy movies now until you start getting really, like, start practicing, start getting good. You kind of have to make a bunch of crappy stuff before you get good. It has to happen. You just have to. Sorry.
Yes. What do you think, Joey? You could cry about it.
I go the other way. I was like, Lauren, I made my best stuff in high school.
Joey peaked.
I peaked too early.
Oh no.
None of my stuff was crap.
Okay.
I was
Alright.
a natural.
Okay.
Everything I made was brilliant.
Ugh.
And that
Oh, man.
answers someone's questions. What Ivan asked, what's the biggest factor that separates success from unsuccessful filmmakers? Luck.
Yep.
Also,
I got not lucky.
they just keep making films.
No one saw my gold.
You're not gonna be a successful filmmaker if you're not shooting. Like, don't let stuff
Yeah.
stop you from shooting.
Yeah.
Even if you have a crappy camera, go out and make something that uses the camera to, you know, like a found footage film or something like,
Mhm.
use the camera to your advantage, like take what you have and like, you can, the same thing is like, you can only be a writer if you're actually writing. You can only be a filmmaker if you just keep making films. If you're waiting around for all the perfect things to come together to make the perfect film, you're not going to be making movies. Then you're not a filmmaker. But yeah.
Luck is what? Timing plus
Luck.
Okay, well.
We said luck twice. And
Persistence creates more
I'm looking
timing
it up.
for opportunity. I forget what that is.
Yeah.
Luck is just timing.
You can create your own luck with persistence and
yes,
orienting
thank you.
yourself in the right place at the right time and meeting people and you know, people need to know you in order for you to be successful, right? Or it also depends on how you define success. So philosophy.
The line is luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
There you go.
By Seneca. So I would say yes, luck, because luck isn't just random stuff happening. Luck means that you're prepared for it and then the time is right.
Yes.
So that's when those things collide. So it's not just like, oh, I was just not contributing anything to the direction of my life and then this thing happened to me. No, like people were lucky because they were ready in terms of their own, you know, preparations when a good opportunity showed up. So
You want to a potentially good filmmaker could have been the director of Street Fighter. Forgive me, I don't remember his name, but it's a really good article on how Street Fighter could have been a good movie. So check it out. And all the things went against him to make that movie good. Everything that he had, every great idea that he had about it, well, he just had bad luck because everything was set against him and preventing him from finishing. He had no control over it.
So was the Sky Captain of Tomorrow movie.
That happens to a lot of filmmakers. So again, it does come down to luck and how much, and in this case, like how much control you have over your actual film, and that will determine how successful your film is and you as a filmmaker, and yada yada yada. So we can get philosophical, but I think we should move on.
That was Joey. So is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, Narsim Gaming, I know, has been asking this quite a bit. My name is Miles. How do I go about keeping a professional behavior and attitude on set? I'm filming tomorrow. Okay, well, I would say, Narsim, like, I'm going to guess you're the director. I'm kind of just assuming that. But, like, if you're in a leadership position, it comes from the leadership. So if you're running that set, you're in charge. If you take on a professional behavior and attitude and make sure that it's important for your crew to hit that same standard, then it'll trickle down, right? So if you are curious about how you keep a professional behavior, I think it's similar to the question we asked earlier where you're like, this is just a movie. I think keep that perspective. Like, you're not going to yell at somebody or ruin your relationship with somebody who's going to be on the set with you because you didn't have to. I think it's about listening. I think it's about focusing on what needs to be done. I think it's about anticipating the needs of others and make sure your communication is on point. Like, everyone's on the same page about what you're currently doing. And then just focus on those tasks. Make sure everyone knows what's happening. Do you guys have any?
Something that I learned that has to do with this, I learned on 5 Second Film shooting every weekend is people would come to the house to kind of just hang out, and there's a fine line between like having people on the set who are contributing to the actual process of the film and versus like not being a jerk, but also, so it's a fine balance is what I'm trying to say between having a good attitude and doing all this stuff, but also not chatting up people and being disruptive to the actual process of making the movie. As soon as you start being overly friendly or talking about random stuff, the noise level creeps up and then it's disruptive, and then all this other stuff prevents the movie from getting made. So just sort of make sure that that is still the goal.
Yeah. I found that there's like a psychological trick. Instead of saying, "Hey, I need you to be quiet," you ask them like, "Hey, could you help me keep the noise level down here? Like, can you help me keep everybody quiet?" And people will like help
Yeah.
complete a task.
Yeah.
Because it makes them feel valued, makes them feel like they're doing you a favor.
Yeah, good leadership is giving people goals. You know
Yeah.
exactly what Lauren said, that you're empowering them to contribute to the success of this thing.
Yeah, and it makes them feel listened to, and like, if you ask people, like, what do you think about this, or blah, 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 like, it just kind of, it breaks up the I need you to do this, go do this, that kind of stuff. It's a lot of, you need to remember please and thank yous, and you gotta feel the room. If people are getting crazy antsy, like, maybe you need a 5-minute break, make sure people have snacks and water. That's a big thing. And then ask people to help you out. Like, ask somebody to be your assistant director and, like, kind of get a feel for the room and get people organized and just enlist people to help you, and they'll want to help you if you give them something to do.
That's going to be a good set.
It's a good set.
It's a good set. Lauren.
I'm just gonna say, Emily is a young filmmaker in here. She just asked, do we have any advice for her? I would say, what areas are you looking for advice in? So type it in and I'll try and get to your question. Anyway, Lauren, you're up.
Sweet. Let's see. There's a couple more questions about crew, which I'm gonna lump kind of together. Kubrick Lover asked, how do you reimburse your cast and crew if you can't pay them? And then there's another question from Hassan asking, like, we're 2 people with a camera, we're looking for scripts. Like, how do we find people? How do I pay my DP? This is where you need to be super upfront when you're looking for people. If you can't pay them, you need to offer them something. Like, you'll get credit, you'll get a copy of the movie, you have to feed them on set. You can offer them a dinner. Like, you can get creative, but up front you have to say, this is not a paid gig, but here's what we're hoping for, here's my vision for it. You gotta sell them on the actual story rather than paying them. And usually people who want to get experience and meet other people will want to volunteer. I did a lot of free films when I was just starting out, just to meet people. And then as for looking for people and hiring, I found jobs on Craigslist before. Again, with Craigslist, you want to be extra safe and vet who you're talking to and who you give your information to. If it feels weird, then it probably is, and you shouldn't do it. Trust your gut. If you're looking for jobs, there's like Mandy.com. There's, I think it's productionjobs.com. I forget what it is. But again, if you are looking for filmmakers or to network with in your area, Facebook has gotten incredible with groups.
Yeah.
Search for Facebook groups for film industry groups or film industry in your city. Like, there's a low budget filmmaking group specifically for low budget jobs that people have joined, so they can expect a certain, like, pay grade or blah blah blah. There's, like, available for hire groups. Like, I can't stress enough, like, how cool social media is right now for connecting. I've met a lot of filmmakers I really respect on Twitter, weirdly enough. So reach out on Facebook is my first thing about finding like-minded people. If you're a writer, go to writers groups. Workshops are a great place to meet people. If you're a camera person, there are a lot of, like, camera workshops that Canon can put on. They're usually free, like, depending on your area. If you're not, like, in a big city, it's harder to find. But again, social media, good place to go. I think that's it for that question. I have a couple more. But
People think I'm too hard on Joey.
I am just... Oh, okay. David said he just watched Donnie Darko today. What do you guys think about complex theories in film, and how do you make it simple enough for the audience to understand? I mean, that's a double-edged sword. I don't think that you need to spell things out for your audience. I think your audience is just as smart as you treat them, and all of Stanley Kubrick's great work and even now Villeneuve is sort of leaving the audience in states of unanswered questions, and the story continues in the audience's mind, and not everything needs to be spelled out. So Donnie Darko was certainly one that was a head scratcher for me in high school, and I like that. It's intriguing, it's engaging. If all the questions are answers, then, or if all of the questions are answered, then there's like no more subjectivity to it, or it's not as personal to each member of the audience or something, because each person could take something else away from it. And I think that interpretation, leaving things open to interpretation, is an important part of film, and you like to see that. Don't assume that an audience isn't understanding something, but also screen it to make sure if something that you do want them to understand isn't landing. So there's a difference.
Yeah, I think it's all about intent.
Yeah.
Right? Like the filmmaker's intent. I totally agree with what Joey just said about no matter what kind of movie you're making, don't ever assume that your audience is dumber than you think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's insulting, and audiences know when they're being treated that way or when they're being thought of that way, and it's unfair, and it's just not good for your storytelling. In terms of like what you want to be mysterious and what you don't want to be, that is entirely like, you screen it, and then the parts that you want to be clear, then you want to make sure that they're being picked up on and that they are. But if there are things that you like being left, to be up for theory and for your audiences to kind of come up with their own interpretations, and like, dude, do it. That's great. I mean, like, Donnie Darko is confusing, and a lot of it is kind of vague, but people talk about that movie all the time, right?
I will say that the director's cut is a good example of trying to answer some of those questions, and I think the film suffers for it, and I much prefer the theatrical version of it. I haven't seen that movie in like 10 years now, but I remember feeling betrayed by the director's cut because it addressed that. So I hope that you saw the theatrical version, because the director's cut certainly does actually lean further into explaining things that don't need to be explained, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you said you preferred the director's version?
No.
You preferred the theatrical?
The theatrical version is it leaves more things open to interpretation, and the director's cut attempted to it attempted to explain the rules of time travel, which you just go with, like it's part of the world. So,
yeah. There's another movie that came out last year called The Wailing. It's a South Korean film that is
good.
Great.
It's a good example.
It spent a lot. It spent a lot of time in post in the edit because they were just pulling stuff out and mixing things up. So I think that's a good example of like that movie is purposely vague at the ending. You don't quite know what happened, but like the director intentionally did that. Mm-hmm. And again, like if you Google The Wailing and go to any forum on like IMDb or anywhere, everyone's like, "What the hell happened?" It's great. It's fun to discuss it. It's a little bordering on frustrating with how vague it is, but that's what the director wanted. So, yeah. Is it my turn?
Go for it.
I forgot who asked this. I'm so sorry because I know you asked a lot. But someone was asking, how do you go about finding film mentors? Which I would say, great question. It's so much about chemistry. And it's like so many other things in the film industry. It's like just about preparation meets opportunity, aka luck. It's just if you meet somebody or you admire somebody and they are in a position to mentor you and they feel like you guys have a connection or he or she sees something in you, it's like any other friendship or any other relationship. It's just about how you guys have a chemistry with each other. But I think the best way to do that is to put yourself in positions to meet those people or talk about those people or like make stuff so that you can show them, and then if they see something in your work that they connect to, then maybe they're more likely to mentor you. So it's like anything else. Like, how do you become successful? How do you find a film mentor? It's just how ready you are, how much you've contributed to that passion, and then the world meeting you halfway with good opportunities. You guys have any
That was good.
film mentors?
Yeah, I would encourage you, especially while you're a student and you're still learning, is reach out to the people you want to learn from. Don't expect answers. But a lot of industry professionals, I was really surprised, would respond to me when I was in USC, and I'd email them and be like, hey, I'm writing about this topic or whatever. I'm a student at USC. I'm really interested in film. I'd love to be able to talk to you about this, blah, blah, blah. And I got some really good responses. Like, I got to interview Michael Dana, who's one of my favorite film composers. Film composers usually respond more than the big shots. But I would find somebody who really, like, inspires your style and your kind of way of thinking, and, like, try, like, I know Freddie reached out to a composer he really liked, and the guy was like, whoa, I didn't know anybody, like, liked this. So it can't hurt to email or shoot a message or something to them, but don't be pushy. Don't ask them a million questions in your email. Just say, hey, I really love what you do. I'd love to ask your advice on this. Is it okay if I send you some questions or blah, blah, blah? And if they don't respond, then respect that and respect their time. Because the last thing that they want to see is, like, the same person emailing them every 3 days being like, excuse me, because then they just won't want to help you at that point. So be respectful. Be polite. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's your turn, Lauren.
It's my turn.
Lauren. Hey, can you do an upside down crescent moon mouth?
Wait.
Yeah? That's not upside down, Joey.
It was Trisha.
Oh.
Is she still in here?
I'm talking to, actually, I'm going back and forth
That
with
needs to be a gift.
Kubrick Lover right now about, rehearsal.
Oh, cool. Let's talk about it.
And he was saying, what are your thoughts on rehearsal? And I was like, I love rehearsal. And he's like, is that always practical, though? And my thing is, like, if you can schedule them for rehearsal before the shoot, 100% always do that if you can. And invite your cinematographer, invite your assistant director, unless it's like an emotional thing with your actors at the time and you only want you and the actors, that's probably best. But if you're doing blocking rehearsal, invite some other people so they know what you're doing. When we do action rehearsal, we actually film it with a cheaper camera, so we can edit it together and make sure the action works. It's the previs type stuff. But Kubrick's question was, what if you meet the actors on set the first day of the shoot and you can't get them before?
We've done that too.
We've done that too. That's when you're working with your assistant director really closely on a schedule. So in between setups, there is going to be some downtime for the actors. They might be in makeup, they might be waiting and holding. If you plan ahead with your assistant director and say, hey, for these couple scenes, I want to schedule some time while everyone's turning the lights around and dressing the set for me to just be uninterrupted with my actors. And if my assistant director can handle everything on set for like 15 minutes, that would be perfect. So work with your crew to kind of build those moments into your day. Because I know, like, we've done that before where to get into a certain headspace, like, we needed to take the actors out and, like, talk with Matt for a bit and, like, get the feel and approach the scene, and maybe they'll bring in John Salmon to talk about the shots that are happening and how we're going to block it, while the rest of the crew, you've already told them what you needed. So they are putting lights up, they have stand-ins so they can light. So my best advice is get someone to help you be your assistant director, the other director on set, to direct all the technical stuff so you can work with your actors in between. And the mark of a good director is that you've already kind of told everybody what they need to do beforehand. You'll have to make split decisions on set all the time. But your crew should know your vision well enough that you could walk off set, be like, hey, I'm going to take time with my actors. You can walk off set for 15 minutes and come back, and they've already done what they you needed them to do. So just try to schedule it in your day if you can. If not,
That was
do
a
a quick
ridiculous
run
face,
through.
Lauren. That was an amazing face. Yeah, I love
That
it.
one?
Yes. It's great.
If not, usually we'll do a quick rehearsal with like everybody once, maybe film it to see if you need to see what it looks like, and then do a couple more takes to smooth it out. But if you can do it in between, do it.
Lauren, Adrian says, P.S. If you don't invite your DP to the rehearsal, you are a bad person. Agree, disagree?
Agree.
Agree.
I would make it, yes.
Unless it's an emotional character work rehearsal,
Yes.
no one else needs to be there. Like, I don't need to know the depths of that person's process. If you are doing a rehearsal with blocking, frickin' invite your DP.
Yeah.
Because I need to know where they're walking.
Yeah.
But if they're doing intense emotional work, like, nobody else should be there except the director.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say, like, again, if it's staging, if it's blocking, if it's anything involved how you are going to shoot it, you need your DP there. If you are meeting purely with your actors to talk about character work or, you know, the emotional, as Lauren said, emotional work and that stuff, like, that's a conversation between you and your actors. And, like, if, you know, like, a lot of times privacy is what makes those conversations work. So depending on what you're using your rehearsal for. Joey, I think you're up.
Good answers. Yes. Looking. All right. Well, thoughts on owning grip and electric gear?
Dude.
I mean,
What was it? What was it? What was it?
That's,
Sorry.
Thoughts on
should
owning
you
grip
should
and
you
electric?
own it? You know, more or
Mm.
less. Yeah. I mean, if that's what you want to do, you know, if that's your jam, then get the essentials.
Get the small stuff.
Yeah.
Like, most grips or Sparks electric that I know, they usually have gels and diffusion in their car.
Mhm.
They'll have gaff tape. They'll have certain clamps. They might have some speed rail if they are fancy.
Yeah.
I remember carrying around like little portable lights from Home Depot and Christmas lights and like little things in my trunk. 'Cause like a lot of the times I'll be on set and I'll be like, oh crap, if we had only had this, and usually my key grip is like, oh, I have one of those in my car, I'll go get it. It's like such a lifesaver. And it's just good to have, but you don't need to buy a whole equipment van. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need a 2K and a 5K and a whatever. Like, you can get a lighting kit, which is great, and you can bring it with you and negotiate higher pay for having people renting your equipment.
Mhm.
That's a thing that a lot of people do.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
But usually with grip and electric, you want like your little ditty bag. Like, you want gloves, you want diffusion, you want gels, you want C47s or laundry boys, as I'm trying to get laundry boys going.
Yeah.
It's the Finnish name for them.
You know, if that's something you want to do, yeah, own a couple C-stands, fine. You know, that's
Yeah.
a good idea. Own some
Sandbags.
combos, sandbags, own a bunch of extension cords, you know, like have these things if that's what you're into.
It's not going to make and break your career, though.
No, it's something that you could just have on hand if someone needs something. Lights are different, you know, because there's so many different needs for lights, so without getting into specifically buying a set like an RE set or a set of Kinos or whatever, I'm not going to recommend one or the other or any for that matter. Because there's so many different uses for those. But on the grip electric side, yes, I would. What could it hurt if it's in your budget and if that's what you want to do? So hope that answers your question. And like Lauren said, there are guys who buy a van and they pack it and then they sell themselves as like, you get me and you get my equipment. So if you want to put together a little bare bones essential packet or more robust and sort of become your own business, you know, you could do that as well. It's not that's not out of the realm of what people have done in this town. Is they offer themselves with what they have and negotiate rates, as Lawrence said, for said equipment. So I hope that answers your question. It's an art form.
Narsim Gaming is going off to shoot tomorrow, so
Good
let's wish him luck. Yeah. He's shooting where they shot Dunkirk.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool location.
Yeah. So Break a Lake, that's very exciting. That is my turn? It's my turn. Bop. Irish Hippo asks, should I make a list prior to my film, shot list prior to my film, or should I just wait to set up shots when we get to site on film day? That is entirely dependent on you as a filmmaker, but I would highly recommend a shot list. Or storyboards or something, a document that will help you communicate with your cinematographer or whoever you're working with in that area. If you meet with this person before you go shoot and you guys know what you're doing, then maybe you don't need to do a shot list. But
Yeah.
it's usually like, as long as you're on the same page with your crew, then you should be good. But a lot of people use shot lists to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main thing is that everyone else should know what they're getting into because they can't read your brain. And if you are like, oh, we'll figure it out when we get there, people aren't going to be prepared. Like, production design needs to know what they need to set dress, what they need, where we're going to be looking, blah, blah, blah. And you can give them an idea beforehand of, like, we'll probably see a couch, we'll probably see these curtains or windows. Like, you need to get on the same page before you show up, or else you're going to be missing things. You're going to be scrambling last minute. The thing about shot lists is that they're not set in stone, so you can create a shot list of, like, you know, I would like a wide, I would like a close-up at this moment. Like, story-wise, I need to make sure we see the hand grabbing the doorknob or whatever, and when you get on set, you can determine what those actually look like, but you already have a list of, like, the shots you need, but they don't have to be exact. And then if your location, like, turns out a little bit differently than you planned, you already know what you need story-wise, so you can adjust your shot list to fit the location. But you need to know what you need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And communicate.
And everybody else does too.
And be able to communicate exactly. Joey?
Oh. How do I build confidence after being refused by Fine Arts Film School twice? That's Thomas asked that.
It's tough. That's tough.
I mean, what about these programs makes you want to go there so bad? I mean, because it doesn't, as we've said, you don't necessarily need to go to film school to make films. If there's a professor there or anything else that you like, I mean, I don't know.
Be fueled
you
by
should,
that rejection.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many artists and other things who, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I feel like composers or artists or anything like that were rejected from Juilliard or from anywhere else, and they went off to go do whatever. Yeah, I mean, you hear that story all the time. So
I mean, Tarantino didn't go to film school.
Yeah,
like most well-known filmmakers did not go to film school or art school.
Mm-hmm. So I would just say have the confidence within your ability, and not necessarily the degree that comes with wherever you may graduate from. So just keep making movies and don't take no for an answer, especially when it comes to making movies.
Yeah.
Make it happen. That's all. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want a degree, maybe we can whip something up and print one out.
We'll
maybe that's
print one
something
out and email it to you.
Rocket Jump Film School, stamped, signed, approved, if that's what you need, and we will give you that confidence.
Yeah.
But we're
We'll
not
do it.
And
We'll
then
take the mantle.
it might look good on a resume. You could all put that on there until they find out that we're not actually a real school.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Screw them.
Yeah, screw them.
Yeah, you don't need that approval. Like, just go make stuff.
Yep.
Get better. like you don't need a degree to tell you that you're good or bad.
Yep.
Cool. Next question. I'm gonna take one up.
Do it.
Noah Nelson asks, how long did you have to PA until you got higher positions, or were you able to already start higher? I just thought this would be nice because we give you guys a lot of direction, but we don't talk a little bit more about how maybe we did it, which might be helpful. Because, you know, everyone's experience is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely started PAing. I was on commercials. I was a PA on The Dark Knight Rises. I was a PA on a lot of stuff. But honestly, it didn't take very long to be offered the next position up, like a production coordinator, or then, you know, working the production office and producing. Because I think it's just like if you demonstrate that you are a nice person, you're not insane, and you work hard, and you can anticipate the needs of others, and you're a helpful person, and you're on time and talented. You can demonstrate those things, and people like you. Like, people are eager to seek out talent in this industry. Like, it's sometimes it feels like it'd be pretty black and white. Like, if you're a cool, solid person who's a hard worker and good at your job, you will get hired. You are hireable. Because there's a lot of people here who are not. So, I think, yeah, I mean, I worked my way up a little bit, you know, like did the bottom of the barrel stuff, ordered lunches for people for a few months. And, you know, every time you kind of jump jobs, I think you have to be prepared to take a little cut to save you don't want to have to start over and climb that chain again. So, and again, that depends if like you're doing a more structured, you know, salaried job, or if you're doing freelance, then you can usually carry that from your last job to the next. So, but yeah, that's kind of my experience, kind of in a rambly way. I don't know. What about you guys?
Well,
Did you PA?
Yeah, I PA'd for 2 features. The first one I did completely for free, which was illegal, but
Someone did ask, what do you think about the negative stigma of free film work?
Yeah,
so maybe we could talk about that too.
It taught me everything I needed to know about being a PA. So, and that was like my first actual on-set experience.
That was my first PA offer as well. It was a big studio too.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Mine was
what?
a
I
Joe
want to work with
Estevez
them.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, oof, rough.
Yeah.
Not a good movie at all.
Oof.
And you can really see it not being good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it made me have to work harder because people needed more things, you know. Very unorganized. Anyway, yeah, then you just keep going. You keep meeting people. People, like, you know, they can see, especially if you start out being a PA, they can see how eager you are and other things like that, you know, and hopefully that doesn't die off.
You can always
tell. As you
yeah.
move up, you know.
Yeah.
You want to keep that momentum. So.
Whenever I find a PA that is just like killing it and has a great attitude and is just fun to be around on set, like, I always recommend them to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a great attitude, like, you're going to get recommended for work.
Yeah, like when we hire people, it's like you can tell who you want to bring back and who you don't almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
We keep around the fun people for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I PA'd
IPA.
bunch.
Brunch.
I PA'd also in post production, so I was a post PA and that a lot of that was just like buying crafty and food and answering the phones and organizing like footage to be sent out to producers and dropping stuff off and doing runs and getting lunch orders.
Yeah.
But I got to meet a lot of cool people, and I got to go on the lot. I got to go into sound mixes. I got to sit in on stuff. Like, always ask to sit in on stuff if you can. It's like, oh, we're going to do, like, the sound mix, and you've never been in a sound mix before. Ask your producer, like, hey, can I sit in and just, like, watch? And they're usually like, yeah, cool. Especially if you don't have anything to do at the time.
Yes.
With PAing, it's like always be asking what you can do if you don't have something to do. And if they don't have anything for you to do, ask if you can sit and just, like, watch what they're doing and learn. Being a PA is about being active learning.
Mm-hmm.
I
Assist.
think.
I think, Lauren, you're up.
I'm
Am I?
up.
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
There was a question earlier. Really quick, just in case Raphael didn't see my answer. If you guys have questions about first ACing or assistant camera work, go to the blackandblue.com. That is like the most thorough website and resource for assistant camera people ever. So the blackandblue.com. But there was a question earlier about they want to form a production company. They have a few people who like making stuff. And this kind of ties into, we had a lot of questions about this. It's like, how do you get noticed on YouTube? How do you create a production company? And they asked, how did we start out with Rocket Jump Film School?
Oh, well.
The
desire
Rocket Jump Film
to...
School kind of came out of Rocket Jump. So Rocket Jump was basically that, like a bunch of dudes making a lot of stuff and being really consistent about it and making stuff that they thought was fun. And you just have to be consistent. Like, they were putting out a video a week for a long time. And then with film school, that was me going to Freddie and being like, I want to do something. Like, I want to teach people camera stuff. And Freddie was like, why don't we teach them all the things, like on our BTS? And I was like, cool, I can do that. And he was like, okay, we'll pitch it to us. And then I had to go and I wrote up this huge pitch document about what I wanted, the goals for the production, what it would look like, what like our like number goals were, like how many videos a week or a month, how we would approach stuff. Like, I really tried to think out what the Rocket Jump Film School was before I started it. And then I pitched it at Freddie and they're like, okay, cool, we'll go do it. And I was like, crap, because it was just me. And so I was like, I freaking need a producer. And we got Cherish. And then we're like, we freaking need an editor. We got Joey. And then they made film school like a real thing. So a lot of it was making that kind of goal sheet, like that plan of like what you really want this to be, sticking to it, and getting the right people that are on board with that vision and like want to make it come true, and having everybody on the same page. I think that's the biggest thing, because we all have way different opinions and approaches on stuff, but we all agree about what film school is. So that's why it works.
Yeah, I think launching film school is very similar to making a movie. You know what I mean? Except ours just goes on and on. Forever. No. Yeah, no, I mean, like, how this came together is not that different from finding your collaborators for making a movie, you know? It's just good chemistry and being able to, again, sync up on a vision, which I think was originated by Lauren. And, you know, being passionate about that. Like, again, I don't know if the original vision of film school would have been as funny or as entertaining without Joey, you know? And
Joey brought a lot of the goofs. Yeah,
exactly. Martin Scorsese glasses. I don't have my glasses.
Oh, no.
Did you say my name?
No. Is your nose plugged up?
Mine is.
Anyway. And then I will say, when we launched, what was super, super important was setting a date.
Yeah.
Deadlines.
Yes, deadlines. It was, I mean, we could have just sat here for months and kept trying to perfect something and talking about it, but it was like, okay, guys, this has to come out on May 1st. Like, that's just the deadline we're setting. And 16 videos are going to come out that day because we're insane. It's also the day after Avengers. Sorry.
We haven't ever missed a deadline that we've set for ourselves.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing.
Yep.
And stay true to that no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Right. And I will say that everyone has a different process too. Like, I think we're all very deadline driven people, which makes us work, and that makes us happy, because if, you know, some of us were and some of us weren't, then we probably wouldn't work together as well. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely people who release stuff and then they don't need deadlines. That's just not part of their process. But I would absolutely say it has helped us establish something, you know, like, you know, that's how film school came out. It was like, we gotta put it out.
We gotta do it.
It's gotta be done.
And then when you gotta read how you're feeling, because we were like, okay, we did 2 videos a week for like a year, I think.
Yeah, half a year.
And then we realized, like, this is getting harder and harder to hit these deadlines. Let's reevaluate. And we reevaluated, and then we did 1 a week for a long time.
Yeah.
And then we had to reevaluate again, and now we're doing 1 a month. And I think that our videos are getting more complex and more, like, interesting and more well produced. And, like, we had to make sure that, like, the quality could hold up with the quantity.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's like knowing your limits and then setting your goals and sticking to them.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what you want to do.
Should we do one more round?
Yes, let's do one more lap, and then I think we're gonna have to call it for today.
Well, I gotta shout out to Movisti Pictures for the compliment on the Scorsese glasses. These are my monitor glasses. These
They're
are
sweet gunners.
the Gunner gamer glasses for staring at computer screens all day. I do think that they help. Whether or not that is scientifically proven is up for debate. But he is shooting a night scene on Saturday, and he said, "Any tips?" Yes, I have a few tips. Do your due diligence and be as prepared as you can for any shoot, specifically a night shoot, depending on the location. If you're in a neighborhood, tell the neighbors that you're going to be filming. If you're going to be shouting, yelling, doing all this stuff, do that as early as you can, so you're not doing it at 2 in the morning, like a film production I worked on once where they saved their exterior screaming scene till 4 in the morning and woke up the whole neighborhood. Don't do that. So yeah, be prepared, and if you're in the woods, like, how are you going to get power? Generators, you got to think about all these things. So my tip for you is to ask yourself all these questions, get everything that you need, and it will go a lot smoother having thought about every scenario. So good luck on your shoot on Saturday night.
Bada bing.
Woo.
Yes. If I'm missing anything for nighttime, anything. Oh, headlamps, and lights, because if it's night, it's dark. So having light somewhere for your crew, or
so you're safe.
Tell your crew that
Ouch, my butt.
if they need those things, like, have them. So that's also important.
Oh man. Noah Nelson says, funny story, my film professor showed a video that you guys made instead of doing a workshop. Cool.
Which one?
Yeah, which video? Can you tell us? Someone asked a great question. There's 2 good questions.
Do them.
141 Jaybird asked, how did you guys first meet each other for the first time?
How did we first meet each other?
Yeah. Do you remember, Joey?
You tell me that we met at the wrap party for season 1.
For VJHS.
And I think I remember that. But it was also my birthday,
It was.
so I might...
I think was it your 21st birthday?
It was my
I think
21st birthday.
Yeah, it was at the bowling alley.
No, I was 21 by then.
Oh.
I was... Because that was only...
Yeah, that was later.
I was
sorry.
like 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But it was at a bowling alley.
Yeah, it was at a bowling alley. So that's when we met. Lauren and I met... Season 1?
Season 2.
Season 2?
Season 2.
Season 2. VGHS brought us...
Lauren, I don't remember when you and I first met.
I don't remember either.
It must have been somewhere here, though, right? Like somewhere
Probably.
Rocket Jump related? Or Friends related? I don't know.
There are so many places where we could have met up.
I know. But yeah, that's kind of how that happened.
Yeah.
My other question that I thought was great, because this is not an industry question, but this is about like what makes us do what we do, is Emerson Trotter asks, what makes a film great for you? Are there certain qualities that make a film better for you? What makes a film great for me is that I always use this term. It's like life, but better. Which means I feel like films that really connect with me have a sense of reality to them. There's like something in their world that I recognize, and that doesn't mean it's like can't be science fiction or something still crazy, but there's something in it that feels grounded, right? Either it's in the emotion or the world that it's in or how it's represented. but better means like, oh, it's more magical, more elevated because it's cinema, right? It's like that would never happen in real life, but it can happen in the movies, and that's incredible and really romantic and awesome. I really like movies that one of my favorite directors right now is Denis Villeneuve, who is doing the new Blade Runner, but he did Sicario, he did Enemy, Arrival is his last movie. He's doing the new Dune, which is crazy.
Busy guy.
But he did Prisoners. I think all of his movies at the end hold up a mirror to the audience to say, like, to have them self-examine and ask themselves moral questions about like what they would do and who they were and stuff. And I find that incredibly fascinating. Like, he has such a good handle on psychology, and his characters feel real and like they're coming from a real place. So I love movies. I can talk about movies all day. So I don't know, what do you guys think?
Will!
It's Will Campos.
Good job on Bob, Will.
Hey, gang.
Joey cried.
You cried?
I cried reading the script,
Oh,
and
wow.
I kept that a secret until I think I told it 2 people. Now the world knows.
The world knows.
Oh,
Yes.
world.
No, people asked about getting an idea to a script,
Mhm.
and then I just said read scripts of movies that you like, and then I said
We should
hopefully
we should release the D44
the
script.
D4
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we can do that.
yeah. So, because man, they are fun to read,
Because Joey cried.
and I cried.
It's a joke, right?
I cried like a little baby.
Girl. Little sweet baby Joey.
Little sweet baby.
Anyway, what makes movies great for you?
Well, you had a good one. Lauren, you go.
Man, that's hard. Depends on my mood.
Okay, I'll go.
You go. I'm gonna think.
I like watching weird stuff. I like seeing. I like just straight up. You know, we saw the Fate of the Furious and all that stuff. That's all good. And if anything, that sort of captures like the joy of like what I like about movies is because they just were fearless and they just did random stuff that they didn't really need to explain. It's just so I like seeing that in filmmakers. I like seeing filmmakers take risks and do a bunch of weird, crazy stuff, and that makes movies great. If everything is like trying to be too real or anything like that, I respect it, but it's also not necessarily what I personally think. Like, that's the element that makes it great. I like.
What's your favorite movie?
Well, I mean, there's so many that have inspired me to get to this point. So, I mean, I still think Evil Dead 2 is just like, it's like watching film school. You know what I mean?
It's like your DNA. I
It's
feel
like-
like Evil Dead is part of your DNA.
It's like it's everything about using the camera and doing all the tricks that make you, and then it's just goofy. It's like hilarious. So they're just having fun doing it, and you can tell. Like watching it, it feels like you're a part of the fun.
Mhm.
And that's all. Getting in that mindset like inspires me to like try and make people loop them in on like the party, right? So.
I think that kind of what I was thinking of, and I wasn't quite sure how to phrase it, but I really do like you're in on the fun.
Mm-hmm.
I really like movies that even if they're like crazy and weird and out there, they feel really personal, and it's like I'm letting you into this like in group. I'm letting you into this like my brain. I'm not trying to like tell you something or manipulate you or do this like. It's like, come into this weird place that I'm having a blast making this movie. I think that's why so many people love Spielberg movies, is because they are so personal.
Mm-hmm.
They can be about, a lost alien or a guy who's
Crystal Skull?
an archaeologist.
so good.
An
Jeez,
archaeologist
Lauren.
who's never connected with his father. Like
Yeah.
those feel like it's like, oh, you get a little
Indiana
bit of
Jones and
inkling.
the Crystal Skull is Lauren's favorite movie.
Oh, no.
You heard it here
How
first, folks.
dare
It's
you.
a fact.
Alien.
She
Confirmed.
loves
How
it.
Wow.
dare
Put that
you.
in her IMDb trivia, please.
Yeah.
No.
She loves it. She can't stop talking about it. Clearly.
Yeah.
God.
Spielberg makes me feel like I'm like in bed and I'm getting told like a
No, someone's tucking you
bedtime-
in.
Yeah, someone's
Yeah.
tucking
Tucking
me
you
in. And Spielberg is just no. You're not Spielberg. I'm not watching Crystal Skull right now.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Schindler's List too.
Yes.
Ah.
They made a sequel?
No, I was Schindler's List as well. Was that it was like a bedtime story?
Yeah, you're getting tucked in.
I know.
But like,
Steven himself is tucking you in.
I'm specifically referring to
when films are personal to the people who are making them, that's when it really speaks to me, because you can kind of feel it. Like I mean, one of the directors me and Cherish really like is Nikki Caro.
Yes.
And she has just very personal, moving
She's doing Mulan.
character. I'm so excited.
Mulan.
She did Whale Rider, if you guys haven't seen it, and that's my favorite of hers right now.
North Country.
North Country. What was the other one with
Matt Arnold.
the guy?
Bob.
McFarlane USA.
Yeah, McFarlane was
Bob.
with the guy.
Hey, what does Bob stand for?
Stands for Bob. That's his name.
Good job on Bob. Matt Arnold.
There used to be a line in the script where we revealed that Bob was the name of Chris, Malcolm Barrett's character. Originally, Chris was like more explicitly the person who created Bob, and Bob was going to be just the name of his father. So he named Bob after his dad. But that was kind of...
Oh my God, Joey, are you crying?
Dude, I cried.
But yeah, that was originally the idea, was that we liked the idea that people would think it was an acronym, but then you would reveal it was just... no, it was his name.
His dead father's name? Oh my God.
He didn't say his dead father's name.
Cry.
It was his dad.
Oh my God, I
his
can't believe
dad's
you
name.
named Bob after someone's dead father.
I thought it was his dead son who died of leukemia.
No,
You
that's
guys.
not...
Brutal.
that is-
Oh.
And it was his son was a dancer and then lost his legs.
Uh-huh.
And then got leukemia.
Billy Elliot?
Yeah.
This is a really weird frame, guys.
Can I say what I like in movies, or
I did interrupt Lauren.
What is
Lauren.
this right
Oh,
now?
yeah.
Okay, so beyond learning that Lauren's favorite movie is Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, what else?
God.
No!
She loves it.
Dang it!
Okay, what's your favorite? What do you like? I'll just hold it. Hurry up,
I think that in life we only experience there are certain emotions that you don't get to experience all the time, and that you don't like you go through life, right, and you are kind of like in this little narrow bandwidth, right? Like you in your day-to-day you're disconnected from a lot of different emotions and a lot of different people. And movies, I think great movies, they give you a safe space to feel an emotion. Whether that's joy or fear or grief or empathy with another person.
Sexual excitement.
Sexual excitement.
though. All right,
Just
okay.
the thrill, like adrenaline. I think being the part of the joy of life is experiencing all of these emotions, experience everything that life has to offer, and I like when a movie can move me in ways that I'm not moved necessarily every day in my normal life. I think movies are a really great way of bringing them. What?
No, I'm not laughing at you.
Well, okay,
It's
so
lovely.
one example of one of those
It's funny because I
genres
thought the question
that
was,
does
what
it,
is
right?
your favorite movie? And I was like, this is a long preamble for
Oh.
my favorite movie.
And my favorite movie that does all of them is... No.
Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
answer,
Jesus.
But I think that people, again, like one of the things you hear people say a lot is they complain about macho power fantasies, right? Where they're like, oh, this is just an indulgent power fantasy. But I think a power fantasy is a valid thing for someone who is disenfranchised or someone who doesn't feel like they have a lot of agency in their life to get to escape to and get to feel. I think a power fantasy can be empowering, and I think that's important. I think that, movies that let you feel love when you don't have love in your life are important.
Dude, you're gonna make us cry in here.
Okay, well...
Zooming on Joey.
So that's what I like about movies
Check.
is when like the movies that, let me really feel something are the movies that I like. And then when, a movie that can make you feel and think at the same... Okay.
No, it's good, Will. It's nice.
We're looking at Joey.
It's.
to see-
I'm making
Anyway,
this more
Brian.
cinematic.
No, I don't know what to say after that. How can you follow that? Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, what he said.
Oh boy.
Good.
It's very nice. That was very powerful.
Thank
Well,
you.
what's one of your favorite movies that does one of those things?
This is gonna sound silly,
What's
but...
the power fantasy?
Oh, Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
Sorry, guys.
there it is.
Conan the Barbarian, power
Wait,
fantasy.
that's not it. Like, let him explain Conan.
Come here. You sit down. My arm
Okay, sorry,
hurts.
sorry.
So, Conan the Barbarian, I think it's... Oh my god, that didn't even help. Conan the Barbarian is... Well, the stuff I feel when I'm watching it is, I think there's a real profound grief in that movie, and there's like a sadness to it. I think there is a more than just a power fantasy, a sense of adventure and like the joy of adventure. I like that Conan is this moody character, and that he's brooding, and that But yeah, I think the adventure that he goes on is it's you get swept up in it. It's thrilling.
Yeah.
So that's some of the stuff I like about that movie.
And James Earl Jones is evil.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's so bad.
Yeah.
He's a bad man. What is everyone's? Okay, should we just end on one last question?
Yeah.
What's everyone's favorite movie?
Oh shoot.
Kiki's Delivery Service / Whisper of the Heart.
Crystal Skull.
No!
Well, we know Lauren's, so let's
dang
just
it.
skip Lauren.
That's pretty good.
Joey
That's a
doesn't know. Evil Dead 2.
good- Evil Dead 2.
Evil
Well-
Dead 2 is your favorite movie?
Yes.
It's a
Well-
good movie.
Yeah.
What was this Conan the
I
Barbarian?
don't know if I would say Conan's my favorite.
Oh my god.
It's up there, probably top 3. Conan, Starship Troopers, Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan.
Matt, you seem more focused on maintaining your head in that position.
Lord of the Rings. All 3 of them, because they are one movie.
That is true. Lord
They
of the
are all
Rings.
equally
Yeah,
good.
no, Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
That's probably my most quoted movie.
No.
That's my most.
There is no Fellowship. It is Lord of the Rings.
I literally just said I will take the ring to Mordor.
And Seven Samurai. In fact, Seven Samurai and Lord of the Rings are also one movie.
Yes.
And it's all been in vain. The
Uh,
Fellowship
Alright, Matt and I have to
has
get
failed.
back to work, but hi, streamers.
Smoke this thing, Frodo. It's quite cool.
Ricochet.
Okay. Anyway,
Bye,
I think
Matt.
next
Good
time
job,
come
Mom.
back for our Q&A about why Crystal Skull is Lauren's favorite movie.
We should
And
do Rocket Jump Film School and the stream of the Crystal Skull.
it's just a
All
running
next
commentary.
we should
Yeah.
just do a commentary. I think
God, movie.
I
I
think-
this movie sucks. Why do you like it so much?
I think I would like the movie more. Actually, I think the movie's fine. There's some funny jokes.
Are there?
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So, okay,
Why not?
guys. So there were so many questions we didn't even get to, but we have to wrap it up now because it's almost 5:30.
Oh my god.
Our time. My God. So if we didn't get to your question, there's a link right below my face. I'm pointing at it. So go there and ask your question. Tag. I'm at Cherish. Lauren's at Lauren. Joey's at Joey Scoma. I think.
Hi.
That's him.
Heard my
In
name.
the Scorsese glasses. But
My
please,
eyebrows aren't as bushy.
please ask
One day.
your ask
questions.
your questions there and tag us, and or if we don't get to them there either, you can come back to next week's stream every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
And next week
Yes.
is the Rocket Jump Film School and the stream of the Crystal Skull. So
Yeah,
let's
We're
all
gonna
do
get
our
some
homework and
props.
watch Lauren's favorite movie.
yeah. Everybody has to watch. We're gonna need everybody in the stream to watch the movie by next Thursday, 4
And-
o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
And
we're
really
all
study it.
Yes, and all of us
Lauren's
are
dad.
going to ask Lauren
Specifically Lauren.
pointed film theory
Why?
critical questions
Yeah.
about Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yes.
Some
So
people are gonna do that.
Yeah.
Now I have to watch it so I can answer.
Or not.
if it goes well, this could turn into the first Rocket Jump Film School live event / workshop that we put on. And, maybe Rocket Jump Film School Summer Camp, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, starring Lauren.
Get
Okay?
tucked in.
Anyway,
Oh
Get
my
tucked
God.
in
Joey's gonna get tucked in.
with Spielberg.
Anyway, you guys were great. We're gonna chill now.
Come chat with us in discussion
Yes.
forum.
Right there, below my face. And again, watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and we'll see you guys next week.
Ugh.
Screenshot.
Oh yeah, screenshot.